Good morning to all. So in the last class we discussed about the chapter which is a letter to Adolf Hitler by Gandhi. So in this class we will be beginning the another chapter, the diary by Susie Townsend, and it is a kind of personal diary. And in this module we have letters and also diaries. So before going to the chapter we should go into the definition of the diary. So a diary, it is a form of autobiographical writing, and also we can define it as a day-to-day record of events in one's own life and written for the personal satisfaction and with little or no thought of publication. And also in ancient lineage, it is indicated by the assistance of the term Latin, which is the diarium, which is derived from the dies meaning day or daily allowance. So this means that the diary is a kind of personal kind of autobiographical writing, and it is a day-to-day record of events in one's own life and written for the personal satisfaction. So this diary that we should focus on, that the chapter which is the secret diary of Adrian Moore aged 13 3/4, is a kind of diary which is like this, in which it is a kind of autobiographical writing, and also it can be defined as a day-to-day record of events in one's own life, and also it is written for the personal satisfaction with little or no thought of publication. But we have a published version of this diary by Townsend. So to this chapter we can see that this is not at all a kind of like a letter. This is a kind of diary, and this diary is written by Townsend. And this in this chapter we have a diary entry by Townsend regarding her life in a very good manner. So this regarding this chapter we should focus on the author's details first. So in this class we will be going with the details of the author, who is Townsend. So Townsend was her full name was Susan Lillian Townsend, and in short we call her Townsend. And she is one of the Britain's most celebrated comic writers, novelist, playwright, and also journalist. And she wrote repeatedly about the way ordinary lives are disfigured by politics, and her ability to entertain without compromising her integrity was a gift that defined her and her writing. Townsend was born in 1946 at Leicester, eldest of 5 sisters, and she got married at 18, and her marital life was never a bed of roses, and it ended in a divorce. So this means that her life was not at all successful in overall it is not successful, and it ended in a divorce, and that is when she was only 23, and she became a single parent of 3 children who are Sean, Daniel, and Victoria. To look after her kid, she tried several jobs, including the working as a factory owner, shop assistant, receptionist, and also the petrol station attendant. So all these activities, all these works were handled by this author. So she was from Britain, and she is regarded as the Britain's most celebrated comic writers. So basically she is a comic writer, also a novelist, playwright, and also a journalist. So her correct town or correct place of her is at Leicester. So Leicester is a very small town in Britain, and she writes basically the kind of these novels, playwright, the dramas, journals, and also she is regarded as and she is famous for his comic works. So she is regarded as a kind of writer who wrote in a very different manners, in which she write in comedy, in a type of comedy, and also then she wrote the novels, then she wrote some plays and also some journals. So in every category, in every types of her literary career, she already give a kind of trademark in her own identity. So she wrote repeatedly about the way ordinary lives are disfigured by politics. സോ ഒരു ഓർഡിനറി ആയിട്ടുള്ള ഒരു മനുഷ്യൻ്റെ അവസ്ഥ അതിനെ എങ്ങനെയാണ് ഒരു നല്ല രീതിയിൽ അവതരിപ്പിക്കാൻ പറ്റുക, ഇതിനെക്കുറിച്ചൊക്കെ കൂടുതൽ എഴുതിയ ഒരു റൈറ്റർ ആയിരുന്നു ഈ സൂ ടൗൺസെൻഡ് എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞ ഒരു റൈറ്റർ. ഹെർ എബിലിറ്റി ടു എൻ്റർടൈൻ വിത്തൗട്ട് കോംപ്രമൈസിങ് ഹെർ ഇൻറ്റിഗ്രിറ്റി വാസ് എ ഗിഫ്റ്റ് ദാറ്റ് ഡിഫൈൻ ഹെർ ആൻഡ് ഹെർ റൈറ്റിംഗ്. സോ ഒരു മെയിൻ ഫീച്ചർ എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്, ഈ സൂ ടൗൺസെൻഡിൻ്റെ ഒരു മെയിൻ ഫീച്ചർ എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് ദി എബിലിറ്റി ടു എൻ്റർടൈൻ വിത്തൗട്ട് കോംപ്രമൈസിങ് her integrity was a gift, like a gift, and that defined her and her writing. So this means that she is defined with her own ability to entertain without compromising her integrity, and it is regarded as a kind of gift in her writing. So this is regarding just an introduction to this writer, and she was born in 1946 at Leicester. And her life was never a bed of roses for her, and her marital life was tumultuous, and it ended in a divorce. And at the time of her divorce, she was only 23 years old and had 3 children. And since then she tried a variety of odd jobs like this working as a factory owner, shop assistant, receptionist and petrol station attendant in order to provide for herself and her kids. So later she married Colin Broadway in her early 30s, who encouraged her in 1975 to join a writers group at the Phoenix Theatre, Leicester, and where she became a writer in residence. So that's regarding a change in her life in which she joined to a writers group at the Phoenix Theatre, Leicester, after marrying Colin Broadway in her early 30s, in which he encouraged her to join in this group in 1975. So it is a kind of a life event in her biography. And also she became a writer in residence, and she wrote her first play, which is Wormbrand. And this Wormbrand which won the Thames Television Playwright Award, and in 2007 she suffered from the kidney failure and was put off dialysis, and after 2 years her kidney was transplanted, and in 2014 she suffered from a stroke and she died at the age of 68. So it is a quite quick summary or quick biography of Sue Townsend, in which she was died at the age of 68 due to this kind of kidney issues, sufferings. She suffered from a stroke and she died at the age of 68. So that's regarding a quick biography of Sue Townsend. And she is best known for her Adrian Moore books. So it is a series of books that include a series of 9 books that were diary entries of a teenage boy named Adrian Moore. So Adrian Moore is a name of a character in this series of books, especially these 9 books. So the 9 books of Sue Townsend were The Secret Diary of Adrian Moore, aged 13 3/4 in 1982, then The Growing Pains of Adrian Moore in 1984, The True Confessions of Adrian Albert Moore in 1989, then Adrian Moore and the Small Amphibians in 1991, then Adrian Moore, The Wilderness Years, which is in 1993, then Adrian Moore, The Cappuccino Years in 1999, and also we have one more collection, which is Adrian Moore and the Weapons of Mass Destruction in 2004. So these are the major collections based on Adrian Moore as a character. Then we have the Lost Diaries of Adrian Moore from 1999 to 2001, and also the Adrian Moore, the Portrait of Years in 2009. So that's regarding the major works by Sue Townsend, basically based on this Adrian Moore. And also these 9 works or 9 books, in all these 9 books the main character is Adrian Moore, and here we have one of the major work by Sue Townsend, which is The Secret Diary of Adrian Moore, aged at 13 3/4, which is written in 1982. Then of all these Moll books, the one that Townsend likes the most in the portrait of the years, because she has taken immense effort to retain the comic spirit amidst her declining health. When she was asked why Adrian Moore was not fictionalized as a girl, she replied, "Girls are more sociable and they talk to each other about their emotional lives, boys don't." So ഇവിടെ ഈ സീരീസ് ഓഫ് ബുക്സിലെ പ്രധാന ക്യാരക്ടർ എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് അഡ്രിയാൻ മോളാണ്. So it is basically a boy, and the others asked her why Adrian Moore was not fictionalized as a girl. So the answer was, she replied, was like that: girls are more sociable and also they talk to each other about their emotional lives, but boys don't. So it is a basic change in their attitude of the boys and girls, in which she chose boys as a kind of character, especially for her series of 9 books based on Adrian Moore. So the first of this series, The Secret Diary of Adrian Moore, aged 13, 3/4, was published in 1982. So this work is regarding our chapter, which is this diary, which is a secret diary of Adrian Moore. And this diary was published in 1982, and it is a sequel, The Growing Pains of the Adrian Moore, which established her as a best-selling novelist. So this work, which is the Adrian Moore Secret Diary, is regarded as a kind of best-selling work by Sue Townsend, in which she was popularized by this kind of work, which became the best-seller during that year. So written in a comic vein, Adrian Moore books are a hilarious account of various episodes in the life of Adrian Moore. So she researched the world of teenagers and attended the youth clubs in order to gain a first-hand experience with the teenagers. So ഇതിലെ ഒരു ബേസിക് എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് ടീനേജേഴ്സ് എന്നൊരു കാറ്റഗറിയാണ് ഇതിൽ കൂടുതലായിട്ട് ഫോക്കസ് ചെയ്തിരിക്കുന്നത്. സോ ഈ ടീനേജേഴ്സിൻ്റെ അവരുടെ ലൈഫ് അറിയാൻ വേണ്ടിയിട്ട് സൂ ടൗൺസൺ എന്നൊരു റൈറ്റർ അവർ കൂടുതലായിട്ട് റിസർച്ച് ചെയ്തു, പ്രത്യേകിച്ച് ദ വേൾഡ് ഓഫ് ടീനേജേഴ്സ്, ആൻഡ് അറ്റൻഡഡ് ദി യൂത്ത് ക്ലബ്സ് ഇൻ ഓർഡർ ടു ഗെയിൻ എ ഫസ്റ്റ് ഹാൻഡ് എക്സ്പീരിയൻസ് വിത്ത് ദ ടീനേജേഴ്സ്. So it is a very important point in which, while writing a novel or any work, the writer should research about the topic or the content of that work. So here our author, who is Sue Townsend, researched about these kind of teenagers, and she got a clear idea regarding the psychology of the teenagers, and she take the hilarious part of this kind of teenagers in her works, especially the Adrian Moore's works. So that's regarding the introduction to this diary. And Adrian Moore books sold over 20 million copies and were translated into 30 languages. So this means that ഒരു 20 മില്യൺ ബുക്ക് സോൾഡ് ചെയ്യണമെങ്കിൽ, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ അത് അത്രയും വിൽക്കണമെങ്കിൽ, അതിൻ്റെ അർത്ഥം എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് അത്രയും ഒരു ഫേമസ് ആയ വർക്കായിരിക്കും. അതേപോലെ തന്നെ ഈ സെയിം വർക്ക് ഒരു 30 ലാംഗ്വേജിലേക്ക് ട്രാൻസ്ലേറ്റ് ചെയ്തു എന്ന് പറയുന്നു. So this work, all these 9 books, especially based on this Adrian Moore as a character, these books were bestsellers during the 1980s, and it is regarded as a kind of bestseller work. And also J.K. Rowling has famously commented on that book as follows: "Gave me so many laughs." So ഇതിൻ്റെ ഒരു പ്ലോട്ട് എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് ഒരു ഹിലാരിയസ് അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഒരു കോമിക് ആയിട്ടുള്ളൊരു ഫീല് വായിക്കുന്നവർക്ക് കൊടുക്കാൻ വേണ്ടിയുള്ള ഒരു അറ്റംപ്റ്റ് ആയിരുന്നു ഈ വർക്കിലൂടെ ഇവർ ചെയ്തിരുന്നത്. സോ ബേസിക്കലി ഇത് തന്നെയായിരുന്നു ഈ നോവലിൻ്റെ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഇത്രയും വർക്കിൻ്റെ ഒരു വിജയം എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. സോ J.K. Rowling has famously commented on that book that this book gave me so many laughs. So it signifies that the content of the book is like a comedy or a comic character. So the major character in this book is Adrian Moore, who is a teenager aged at 13, 3/4, which means that after the 13th his birthday. And after that, in this book, in this work, we have some hilarious moments in his life in a very detailed manner. And the initial name of Adrian was Nigel Moore, in which it was changed to Adrian due to the similarity it bore with Nigel Molesworth, a fictional character who was the supposed author of the series of books, and it was actually written by Geoffrey Williams and with cartoon illustrations by Roland Searle. So that's regarding a major content of this chapter, in which the initial name of Adrian was Nigel Moore. So the Nigel Moore means a kind of name that was already occupied by someone, in which it basically due to the similarity it bore with the Nigel Molesworth, another character, a fictional character who was supposed author of a series of books actually written by Geoffrey Williams with cartoon illustration by Roland Searle. സോ ഈ മോൾ എന്നൊരു പേരിൽ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ മോൾസ്വർത്ത് എന്ന പേരിൽ, നിഗൽ മോൾസ്വർത്ത് എന്ന പേരിൽ ഓൾറെഡി ഒരു ഫിക്ഷണൽ ക്യാരക്ടർ മുമ്പ് ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു. സോ അതുകൊണ്ടായിരുന്നു ഈ ഇനീഷ്യൽ നെയിം ഓഫ് അഡ്രിയാൻ എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് നിഗൽ മോൾ ആയിരുന്നു. ബട്ട് ലേറ്റർ ഇറ്റ് വാസ് ചേഞ്ച്ഡ് ടു അഡ്രിയാൻ മോൾ ഇൻ ഓർഡർ ടു ചേഞ്ച് ദിസ് കൈൻഡ് ഓഫ് ക്യാരക്ടർ ഇൻ എ very clear manner, which means that the identity of this character, or whether it is a real character or a fictionalized character, this character has a kind of identity. So because of that, the author Townsend created another name to this Nigel Moore, which is the Adrian Moore. So that's behind the like a history behind this name of Adrian Moore, in which firstly it was Nigel Moore and later it was changed to Adrian Moore. So the initial name of Adrian was Nigel Moore and it was changed to Adrian due to the similarity it bore with Nigel Molesworth, who is a fictional character who was the supposed author of a series of books actually written by Geoffrey Williams, and Geoffrey Williams with the cartoon illustrations by Roland Searle. So this means that this the name of this character, the fictional character who is Adrian Moore, the actual name, the initial name of Adrian was Nigel Moore, and it was changed due to the similarity to another character of this almost the same name, who is Nigel Molesworth. So due to this kind of similarity, this name of Nigel Moore was changed to Adrian Moore. So that's behind the some basic points regarding the authors, the characters details. So her novels were adapted for radio, television and also for the theatre, and The Secret Diary of Adrian Moore, aged 13 3/4, and also the play and The Queen and I, a play with songs, and are the theatrical adaptation of her works, and they were performed by Out of Joint Touring Company at the Waverley Theatre. And she has also written the works of the non-fiction and also the plays Mr. Bevan's Dreams, Why Britain Needs Its Welfare State is her work of non-fiction. Her first play, The Wombrang, set in the waiting room of a gynecology department, won the Thames Television Playwright. So this was already we discussed in the later part. So this means that she won the first major award, which is the Thames Television Playwright Award for the work Wombrang, and this is regarded as one of the major award received by the Townsend. And also since then she has written many plays. Her important plays are, which includes The Great Celestial Cow in 1984, 10 Tiny Fingers, then 9 Tiny Toes in 1990, and also You, Me and Why in 2010, and Groping for Words in 1983, and Ear, Nose and Throat in 1988. So these are the other major famous works by Townsend, and also she has received many awards and recognitions. So she has received an honorary MA from the Leicester University, and in 2008 she was made a distinguished honorary fellow. and she is an honorary Doctor of Letters at Loughborough University and a Fellow of the Royal Society of Literature. So she won many honors and also many awards from various universities and various places, in which the first honor of her was from the MA from Leicester University, and in 2008 she was made a distinguished honorary fellow, and also she is an honorary Doctor of Letters at Loughborough University and a Fellow of the Royal Society of Literature. So basically she won many awards and many honors from various colleges and universities, and she is also the recipient of the James Joyce Award of the Literary and Historical Society of University College, Dublin, and also the Frink Award at the Women's of the Years Awards. So she won many awards, including this kind of James Joyce Award for the Literary and Historical Society of University College, and also she won the award of the Woman of the Year Awards, and also in 2009 she has given the Honorary Freedom of Leicester, and she died in 2014 following a stroke. So this means that she won many awards and honors and received basically major awards includes the James Joyce Award of the Literary and Historical Society of University of College, Dublin, and also the Frink Award at the Women's of the Years Awards, and also in 2009 she was given the Honorary Freedom of Leicester. So these are the basic awards and honors by the Sue Townsend, who is the author of this diary. And also David Williams, who wrote the foreword to the secret diary of Adrian Moore, aged 13 3/4, calls the book as a genuine phenomenon, and also this fictional account is rendered so realistically that the reader feels that it is not merely a series of jokes but episodes from someone's real life. And also Adrian's parents, who struggles with an unhappy marriage, his grouchy grandma, his mother's creepy lovers, Mr. Lucas, his intellectually superior girlfriend Pandora, and the invalid Bert Baxter, whom Moll take care of, all come alive out of the pages of the novel. So all these aspects comes under in this novel, and basically David Williams, who wrote the foreword to this book, which is this work, especially to the secret diary of Adrian Moore, aged 13 3/4. For this work, the author, who is David Williams, who wrote the foreword address to this book, and also the fictional account is rendered so realistically that the reader feels that it is not merely a series of jokes but episodes from someone's real life. So there is a kind of reality, some true facts in all its works, especially in this work too. And also Adrian's parents, who struggle with an unhappy marriage, his grouchy grandma, his mother's creepy lover, who is Mr. Lucas, his intellectually superior girlfriend Pandora, and the invalid the Bert Baxter, whom Moll take care of, all come alive out of these pages of this novel. And here are a few humorous snippets from the novel that will be an amusing read. So this book is regarded as a kind of comic kind of work. So we have a kind of hilarious kind of chapter or the diary that we should focusing on later. So they show the teenager's anxiety towards the spot on his face, his self-pretensions on being an intellectual, and his concern with his health, and his crush towards Pandora, and the effect of his parents' quarrels on him. So these are the basic concepts in this chapter, which is the diary, the secret diary of Adrian Moore. So that's regarding just an introduction to this work. And before that, we just discussed about the author's details in a very detailed manner, who is the Sue Townsend, who won many awards and honors, and also she wrote many works especially in the Adrian Moore series, the 9 books. All these books were famous during that time, and especially we have the work by Adrian Moore, which is the Secret Diary of Adrian Moore, aged 13/3/4, which was written in 1982. So that's regarding the basics of this chapter. Now we have a kind of just an outline to this chapter in a very quick manner, in a very simple manner. So about this book, the whole book, we have only some part of this work, which is the Secret Diary of Adrian Moore, aged 13/4. So the about this book, the whole book, is that David Williams wrote the foreword to this diary, and also he addressed the book as a genuine phenomena, and also the fictional narration is so realistic that it takes the readers to an elevated height where they feel it as slice of one's life apart from being mere series of jokes. And Moore tries to depict vividly the life of his family and make them live through the pages of his novel. And here are few bits and pieces of from the novel what would be amusing to read and enjoy. And all these kind of situations depict the teenager's anxiety at the spot on his face, and also his self-pretensions on being intellectual, his worries about health, his crush towards Pandora, a character in this novel, his girlfriend and the effects of her parents' quarrel on him. And the diary begins when Adrian aged at 13/3/4 and ends when the Adrian 15th birthday. So that's regarding this novel in a very quick manner, in which this is the life story of or the life event of Adrian, basically Adrian Moore, who is the major character of this work. And in this work there are many situations of especially comic situations, and a kind of some kind of situation like which depicts the teenager's anxiety at the spot on his face, and also his self pretensions on being intellectual, and his worries about health, and also his crush towards Pandora, and his girlfriend and the effects of his parents' quarrel on him. And this diary, which begins when Adrian is aged at 13/3/4, it is a kind of a different aspect of his age, and ends with the Adrian's 15th birthday. So that's regarding a quick overview of this novel. And now we have a quick outline of this test tube, in which we will wind up today's class after this a quick summary of this work, in which this work we can call it as a kind of diary by of Adrian Moore, in which it is divided into some category, some divisions, in which the first part of this diary was written on January 14th. Then the second part is was on January 17th, the 3 days after that. Then we have another day, which is the January 20th, in which he describes about the full moon, and also the subtopic like the my mother is looking for a job. And also the next day was on January 22nd, in which he writes about his mother. And after that we have the January 25th, the day of January 25th, in which the third after the Epiphany. And also after that the February 7th, the Saturday, in which he gives a clear idea regarding his life, basically the family life. Then this diary was written on March 2nd, then March 8th, and also then March 9th. So all these kind of these divisions in this diary denotes these are some collections of diaries or events or situations from different days, and the aspects or the content of this lecture, or sorry, this diary is based on his life experiences, basically major events in his life, throughout his life. So that's regarding a quick overview of this chapter. So this chapter is a kind of comic in its nature. We have many aspects to read and enjoy. So we will focus on all these topics in the later part of this class. So in the next class we will go through this textbook in a very detailed manner. So in this class, we just go through the introduction to this chapter, basically the introduction to this author's details, especially, and also some basic information regarding this novel, which is the Secret Diary of Adrian Moore, aged 3/4, and also some basic aspects regarding this novel in a very detailed manner. And also firstly we discussed about the diary. What is a diary? Definition of a diary. And it is very important to keep in mind regarding the definitions, in which we already discussed about the letters in the earlier classes regarding the definitions of the definition of the letters. And today we just go through the definition of diary in the first part of this class. So keep in mind all these things. I repeat, the diary is a form of autobiographical writing, and it can be defined as a day-to-day record of events in one's life and written for personal satisfaction with little or no thought of publication. So we all know that diary is a kind of our privacy, but occasionally it may be published for later for the kind of this studies and all these aspects. So this means that the content of this letter, this diary is a comic or the comedy, and we get a clear idea to enjoy, to entertain in a very good manner. So we will focus on this chapter in the next class. So that's for today. Thank you. Happy learning.